Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again live YouTube channel. So make sure when y'all tap in with me, when y'all go to my page, most of my videos are, well, all my videos are on the live section of my YouTube channel. I haven't had time to update it and download every video and upload them to my video section on YouTube. Plus, it's just a pain in the ass because you got to redo all of the descriptions and all of that stuff. So it's like kind of annoying. That's why I just say, you know what, I'm going to just leave everything on my live. So today we have a few things, but before we start, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, please. Because you know, one thing's for certain. If it's anything, it costs you nothing to do so. So make sure when you tap in, even if it's just for a second, for a few minutes, or the whole time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. Comment below if you disagree with something or you just fucking with the content. Man, today we're going to talk about just everything that's going on with Trump and D.C. and all of this. Him, you know, cracking down on crime. And J.D Vance, so Stephen Gardner going to break that a lot of that down. Also Jesse Watters, but J.D Vance also sat down with a one-on-one interview with Kristen Welker, and then the last thing we want to talk about is Snoop had I believe like a radio interview or something like that, and he was talking about taking his son to the movies and just how just going to the movies now is just causing confusion amongst the kids, man. It's crazy, you know. But let's get straight into it, man, because I'm a little pressed for time, man, because it took me... these technical difficulties be in the way. You heard me?
Trump's turning D.C. into Disney World. That's not me saying it. That's the media. 47's molding D.C. into his own personal Epcot, a political theme park where troops keep the peace and the White House glitters like Mar-a-Lago. I took my kids to Epcot. It was clean, friendly, and fun. Why would anyone be against that? With a little imagination and some pixie dust, Trump turned the Capitol into the most magical place on earth.
We actually arrested a total of well over 1,000 people. We took hundreds of guns away from young kids that were throwing them around like it was candy. As I said, we've had 0 murders in the last week. And some of these people were from foreign countries. They said, that doesn't sound so good. And I said, well, it doesn't sound good, but Washington was the most dangerous place in this country. And now, you know what? It's probably the safest place in our country.
The National Guard's carrying 9mm and M4s. And we've gone 12 days without a murder in D.C. It's the longest streak since before the pandemic. Trump's done so much, the U.S. Marshals gave him a badge.
We thought it was only appropriate to present you with an honorary United States Marshal Service badge. And this badge comes with this little item right here, the handcuff key, Mr. President, because you continue through your policies and your efforts with your staff to unhandcuff law enforcement officers all over this nation.
America's heartthrob, Stephen Miller, says Trump's making America date again. Last week was Restaurant Week and Liberation Week.
For the first time in their lives, they can use the parks, they can walk on the streets. You have people who can walk freely at night without having to worry about being robbed or mugged. They're wearing their watches again. They're wearing jewelry again. They're carrying purses again. It is a literal statement that President Trump has freed 700,000 people in this city who were living under the rule of criminals and thugs.
This isn't just a win for your wife who wants to wear jewelry. You know the jewelry you bought her. Guys can show off the bling too.
I don't even got it on my shoulder no more. I'm walking around with this. Listen, jump out on me if you want. I'm gonna scream. They're gonna be here in 33 seconds. I got some mother help, some backup. For real,
That's
for real,
crazy.
you jump out, I'm gonna blow your ass. Look, they right here. Look, they outside, though. Oh, God almighty.
So it's funny, you know, it's probably one of a few videos, but the fact that he even posts that is just letting you know that he's conscious of wearing his jewelry when he out and about. So it is, listen, man, it is crazy that, you know, it's just what it is, bro. Like, I don't buy certain things. I got my little, that's it. I ain't walking around with no big shit like y'all tripping. But, I mean, that's crazy. And you can't say, like, look, you can't say, oh, Trump is being racist against me. That's a black man. That's a black man who's obviously not in the streets, don't care about the streets, who make his money, how he make his money, and it's just like, yo, I'm happy that the police is out here because, shit, I could wear my jewelry. I can walk freely, look. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy that it takes somebody to go to this length to get shit done, you know? But it's also showing you that it can be done. It can be done. The problem is, bro, crime is going to always be around. Like I said, the only way to get rid of crime completely and, like, to where it's, like, damn near non-existent is if you make harsher laws, man, and you make prison not comfortable. But unfortunately, that will never happen because we live in a country where we live in a capitalist country, so everything is based on, you know, I don't even know how to put it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, basically, you just gotta be careful because you can get sued and all. Like, the way the laws are set up, like, you know, you gotta have people. They have to have these things in place, but, you know, laws can be changed. So I don't know. My whole thing is, I know I just want to stay out the way, and I know when I'm out and about with my family, I know I want to be safe. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be safe regardless.
No murders, and guys can wear flashy watches and take girls to dinner. Who's against that?
Why has Bowser allowed D.C. to be a playground for white gentrifiers and developers at the expense
Bro,
of the local population?
you notice that in all of these rallies, right? Look at this I just paused it, right? And she just went across this whole screen. You only see one black dude out of all of these people. Let me see. I see one girl right over here on the left. She might be black, but this black dude up here with this army fatigue on. Outside of that, everybody that's here is middle-aged, gay. You can see this dude right here with this tank top looking thing on, with this holding up his sign. He's gay. He's a homosexual. You know, let me see. Just a lot of white people. That's my whole point. It don't even matter about the gay thing, but just everybody is white. You got white people who wouldn't, first of all, wouldn't even live in the ghetto where all the crime is happening. You know what I'm saying? This is how you know all of these people are paid to be out here. Like, it's gotta be. Like, just look at it.
So misguided.
That's all.
Trump's going to protect whites and blacks, whether they like it or not. Big Balls won't have to take one for the team anymore. He was jumped saving a girl from getting carjacked, but he's back from the hospital throwing up 225 on the bench. They're calling him swole balls. Meanwhile, Democrats can't even get it up without help.
Yo, you cannot be the mayor of Spain. Let's go.
You know that motherfucker.
1, 2, 3.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
They do all of this for photo ops. All politicians do, including Trump, but they should just look so unauthentic.
Tommy Mondami couldn't do one rep with 45s on the side
that nigga
without
weak.
someone lifting it for him. If he can't manage 135 pounds, how's he going to manage the weight of New York? It's not a light job. And talk about being unprepared. You go into Men's Day in Brooklyn with the cameras hot, and it looks like you've never been to the gym. This guy's not ready to run New York. He's just winging it. Zoolander will be walking around with armed bodyguards. It doesn't matter if he's a weakling, but you'll have to fend for yourself because he's giving an easy pass to criminals. He wants to scrap misdemeanors and wants to send social workers to crime scenes and keep cashless bail. But Trump's writing an executive order overruling it.
I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization.
In Greenwich Village, 2 convicted killers were arrested selling drugs in the park, and the city let them walk with no bail. A Tren de Aragua gang member was wanted for homicide, and they arrested him, and he got out no bail. A pickpocketer was busted 45 times just last year, and he's still out on the streets. Cashless bail was such a problem in Chicago, they reversed it. But Chicago homicides are still way too high. Homicides were higher every year in Chicago under Biden than under Obama. Trump says the Guard might have to pay the Windy City a little visit.
Is the Pentagon preparing for military deployment?
Yeah, motherfuckers was happy when like I said this before, the last time I went to jail, niggas was in there for like getting caught with bundles of dope and all types of shit, and was talking about they getting out on Monday. I'm like, nigga, how the fuck you getting out? And they would start talking about this whole bail reform thing, but they was geeked about it. Like, yeah, nigga, I be out tomorrow. I be out Monday. I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay. I start looking into it for my situation, which you know. I was in Max. I wasn't going nowhere. It was like, nah, sit your monkey ass down. But it's not only about what they're saying about it, but it's also people don't understand like how much are you hurting yourself with that shit, because they keep letting you get out, and then you just racking up charges. You know what I'm saying? But with Biden, bro, they was just letting everybody out, bro, except me. I was the only nigga under Biden that didn't get out. At least I was one of them. They did not let my monkey ass out.
To Chicago, and with what you said there, are you waiting for the governor?
We're ready to go anywhere. You know, I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually.
Chicago could look like Epcot, but Governor J.B. Back Ribs says it's already utopia.
Well, here I am on the path on the lakefront at 6 a.m. on a Monday.
Bro, first of all,
and we got a lot of people running, having a great.
Bro, anybody can go to the nicest part of their city. Bro, you ain't where the crime at. Nigga, that ain't where niggas is hustling. Shit going down at.
Doesn't feel like a hellhole here. In fact, everybody's having a great
time. This nigga's like outside the city.
Enjoying themselves.
J.B. Back should take that act to the South Side.
Yeah,
6 people were killed there this weekend, including a kid. And the governor doesn't appreciate the fat jokes.
From my perspective, it takes one to know one on the weight question. And the president, of course, himself is not in good shape. So he ought to respond to that from me.
Instead of I'm rubber, you're glue, J.B. Back should say thank you. D.C. is on its 12th day of no murders after they averaged one every other day for 30 years. Pritzker should say, yeah, let's save lives together. The mayor of Chicago, who's one of the most unpopular mayors in the country, with a 26% approval rating, says if Trump sends the Guard to protect blacks from killing each other, he's going to mount an insurrection.
The people of this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny. And if that's necessary, I believe that the people of Chicago will stand firm alongside of me as I work every single day to protect the people of this city.
If Brandon Johnson can't protect his own people, why wouldn't he want help from Trump?
What he said.
Because Trump's white? Because he's a Republican?
Bruh.
What? Because this is all about...
Yo, this Chicago mayor, dog. Listen, bro, I've watched videos of Chicago citizens cursing this nigga out, all types of shit, calling him all types of shit. Like, nigga, you done in this city. Like, you will never be the mayor again. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he didn't even, you look at his face, he didn't even believe it. He said, white people fight alongside me while we fight. Shut the fuck up. Niggas get murdered like a motherfucker in your city. You don't give two shits. It'd be so
about
funny,
politics.
When they act
Johnson
like
and
they
J.D.
care,
back
bro,
can't
they
do
just
their
don't.
job. And if President Trump, who doesn't even live there, isn't even from there, can do it better in a couple of weeks, how does that make them look? Useless. Also makes them look like they really don't care. Trump's about to do to crime what he did to the border. Just like he showed politicians it was
Damn, I
possible.
didn't even think about that, though. That is true. Because these dudes been in these positions for years. And, you know, their cities have been shit for, you know, well, certain parts, I guess you could say, have been fucked up for, you know, decades. And Trump just is, if he's able to pull it off to where he can get crime all the way down, like he's going to make every Democrat look crazy, bro. That
to
is
control
true.
the
I didn't
border.
even think about that.
Now he's going to show them it's possible to control crime. These lifelong politicians keep everyone's expectations so low because they don't do anything with the power we give them. So when someone comes along and actually does something with that power, it makes the useless ones go crazy because it exposes their limp system that lets them stay in control. Judge Jeanine Pirro says, if you want to fight tyranny, fight crime.
You know what tyranny is? Tyranny is when you can't walk outside and go to dinner. Tyranny is when they shoot you and the person walks out of jail before you get out of the hospital. Tyranny is when people are not made accountable. Johnson ought to hope that the president comes there to clean up the mess in Chicago.
Trump's managing to unite the left and the right, while the politicians who sit up above are left out in the cold.
Have you been in Chicago? Have you been in Baltimore? Look, my daughter went to school in Chicago. I remember the day she graduated, there were shootings and killings right outside of her building. And in Baltimore, I have friends that go down to Johns Hopkins, get treated for medical conditions. I mean, they are nervous about ever going there. Then this is not some right-wing person. This is somebody who wants to be able to go into some of our great cities and be able to be safe.
The city of Baltimore, the population's gone down by 300,000 people. Baltimore is rated the fourth most dangerous city in America. And Governor Westmore doesn't want Trump's help. He just wants him to come take a walk.
Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth. Because if you were willing to visit, if you were willing to spend time, if you were willing to actually walk our communities and walk our streets and not just talk about us from the Oval Office, you would see what we see. One of the greatest cities in the United.
Bro, get the fuck out of here, dog. This nigga crazy, yo. Yo, these niggas is crazy, bro. Bro, if this isn't a prime example of, like, they just politicians, bro. That's what politicians do. Bro, niggas, yo, I just seen a video about Baltimore. Specifically, you know, it's just like anything, bro. You got your suburbs and everything. So, yes, is there probably nice parts of Baltimore? Of course. But then you got the parts where Trump is talking about, the crime-ridden areas and shit like that. Well, bro, niggas be getting bodied in Baltimore, boy. Listen, man. Shit about to get goofy out here, I'm telling you. Shit about to get goofy for niggas. And then, you know, the sad part is, like, you know, Trump is trying to clean up the crime, and they're saying it's racism. He's going after black people. Bro, it's just, he's trying to clean up the crime, bro. He want people to feel safe, nigga. And if my whole thing is, if black people in general, and this goes for myself too, if we wanna not feel like Trump or any president for that matter is coming after motherfuckers specifically, because listen, it just is what it is, bro. In the black community is where all the crime is at. Majority of it. Not saying that things don't happen outside of, you know, cities, but just what it is, bro. It's just stats are stats, facts are facts. You know, the numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, people could get mad and claim racism and all that, but these same white people that's out here protesting, they don't live in the hood. That's why they're able to go out there and act like they give a fuck. These are people that act like they care. Meanwhile, as soon as one of them get robbed, they're gonna be like, they're gonna become a Republican.
States of America.
Trump had to decline politely.
He probably
Quote,
never been in the hood.
Governor Wes Moore of Maryland has asked in a rather nasty and provocative tone that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. I assume he is talking about out-of-control, crime-ridden Baltimore. As president, I would much prefer that he clean up this crime disaster before I go there for a walk. Wes is talking a big game, but less than a year ago, he was kissing the ring.
Mr. President, welcome back to Maryland, sir. Welcome back to Maryland. It's good to see you.
In person, too.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you. Great to see you. And great to have you back here.
These niggas is so fake, bro.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we are very, very anxious to be able to work closely with you.
Wes wanted to work closely with Trump when he thought no one was watching. But now he's running for president, so he's resisting like JB back. Crime was one of the most important issues in the last election. It ranked higher than foreign policy and the deficit. The president has a mandate. That's how democracy works.
And they say, we don't need him, freedom, freedom. He's a dictator, he's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick.
Black-on-black crime is going to keep raging if everyone's so afraid to talk about it. You can't arrest your way out of drugs, gangs, and broken homes, but it's a good start. If there's not going to be consequences at home, there's going to be consequences in society. And a party that doesn't believe in consequences isn't a party. It's anarchy. The left lost millions of voters over defund the police and open borders. And Trump's going to be going city to city with ICE and the Guard, cracking down on crime and illegals. And if there's a faction of politicians that fight that, they're going to suffer bad headlines 24/7. Or they can do the right thing and work with Trump to turn their cities into the Magic Kingdom. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse Watters, man. If y'all, I fuck with Jesse Watters. He one of the few people that I watch on as far as like news channels goes. He's funny. We're gonna get into this J.D Vance joint. They probably gonna be talking about a lot of this stuff is gonna be kind of like related in a way, you know. But this is an interview with this demon. She's a demon. Like, tell me she don't like the Joker. No. That's what's the name? But they both got the Joker face. But I don't like none of them, bro. These reporters are not good reporters at all. They ask dumb questions, stupid shit, but she already knows. J.D Vance is very intelligent and definitely be schooling. Let's get into this. Let's get into this interview. But yeah, man, listen, bro. I'm a little conflicted with the whole him going to these. I'm not, and I am at the same time. I'm not, because this shit need to stop, bro. Niggas need this shit need to change. It's just what it is, bro. And at the end of the day, ain't no real black influencers or celebrities or anybody that has any type of influence. I'm not saying anybody, but I'm saying because there is good people out here like Wallow. Wallow always be talking that shit and giving niggas that, you know, that game, like, you know what I mean? You could tell Wallow is a person who is genuinely wants to help the black community, but he understands that it's nothing that he can like himself do. All he can do is give niggas a game. He giving niggas the game. It's up to them. Excuse me. Damn. It's up to them to, you know, to make it happen for themselves. It goes for anybody. You know, I've been through it all. I've been in homeless. I've been in jail 100 times, prison twice, just in a way. I've been up, been down, all of that. So it's at the end of everybody's story when they in a way and they fucking up, whether they keep going to jail or whatever it is, addiction. When it's over, you know it's over. It's just that. You know what I'm saying? When you're ready to walk that path, you're gonna walk that path. The problem is one of the biggest things that I be repeating that Wallo be saying, to my son and shit is the niggas want to be cool shit. Cause that shit is so real, bro. Everybody want to be cool. Niggas is too cool. And that cool, like I tell my son all the time, bro, the graveyard in the prison is filled with nothing but cool niggas. Ain't nothing but cool niggas in jail, in prison, in the grave. It's a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? So that mean niggas be, we just need to get away from that. You know what I mean? You can still be a fly, cool nigga and be in the real estate. You know what I'm saying? Own a clothing brand. Whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. A food truck. That's the shit we need to be getting into. And until we get to that point where niggas is actually valuing education on a financial literacy level, because that's the education that we need. We need the financial literacy. Yes, do niggas need to know the basics, the reading, the math? Of course. But we talking about financial literacy, because that's the only way that niggas are going to be able to come up out of this whole rut that we're in, like, as a whole. You know what I'm saying? As a whole. Bro, I see it every day, bro. I go by it every day. You know what I'm saying? Shit is fucked up. And they want to make it, they want to divert everybody's attention and say, oh, Trump is a racist. Trump is going after black people. He wants to lock black people up. No, it just so happened that black people do most of the crime, bro. Black and brown people do most of the crime. It's not to say that ain't no white people gonna get locked up in this whole thing, because they will. But it's just, that's just what it is. We got to stop doing crime. Like, I used to be a part of it, so I know. You know what I'm saying? I know, bro. Like, come on, bro. I used to be in the trench. I used to be in the hood. I used to love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, but that shit, it's washed up. It's done. It's done. All it did was, the streets is undefeated. I used to have shirts that I was making, and that was one of the joints I did, the streets undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the truth, bro. The streets is undefeated. Niggas is out here losing every day. Niggas' mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, grandmoms, losing every day. Losing every day, bro. We losing every day. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? The same people that y'all calling racist and all that ain't doing nothing to help y'all. Ain't doing nothing to help us at all. You know what I'm saying? They sitting back just watching niggas and then lying about the crime statistics and all of that just to make them look good when it comes time for re-elections. That's all they care about. That's all they care about, is to be able to take some of your tax money, put it in their pocket, while they talk about, how great their city is in their state. They're talking about everything around the shithole. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? They ain't talking about Baltimore, the city. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that nothing great come out of Baltimore or Camden or New York or whatever. It's great motherfuckers everywhere. It's hella talent. Yo, in the jail, the jail got hella talent. It's hella niggas in there, talented as shit at many of different things. They gave it up. If you hear my intro, I know, it said, what I say in the joint, I said, I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean. Because that's a real story. I'm one of them. I gave up ball, was good at it. I gave that up to be cool, to be high, get smoking bud, doing this, being in the mix. I know hella niggas like that. When I said that, I really meant that. I meant it about myself, but I also meant it because I know so many niggas who gave up their dreams, who gave up, they really had it. Niggas really had the potential to really, get their family up out of there. And they gave it up for drugs. They gave it up for the streets. They gave it up to be down. And all niggas did was go back to jail. And now all you see is niggas like, hey, niggas just, honestly, niggas just happy to see niggas doing good. Like, when niggas see niggas and niggas know, bro was down bad. you know what I'm saying, like all of that. Like niggas happy to see niggas doing good, but that shouldn't be what we even thinking about, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny because all the niggas that we looked at, yo, them niggas was corny back in the day. Them niggas, like all that, they somewhere chilling, family, married, big house, career, all that. The nigga that wasn't trying to be cool, wasn't trying to be down. The niggas looked at like he was corny. Now that nigga ain't so corny. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell my son all the time. It's like, nigga, I'm telling you, bro, I've been there, done that. That shit weak. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Because I see him kind of going down. My son a great kid, but I see him going down that path because niggas want to be down, bro. I'm telling you. Niggas think because they got that melanin in their skin, like, we got to move a certain way in order to be accepted. Like, nah, nigga, fuck what niggas talking about. But my bad man going off on this rant, man, but I be feeling some type of way about this shit.
Vice President J.D. Vance, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you. Welcome to my home. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, and we really appreciate the time with you. We have a lot of topics to get to, but I do want to start with some breaking news. We've learned that the FBI is searching the home of former Ambassador John Bolton, his office as well.
Sure.
Can you tell me, why is the FBI raiding Ambassador Bolton's home and office, and did the White House get a heads up?
Well, so we're in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into John Bolton. I will say we're going to let that investigation proceed. What I can tell you is that unlike the Biden DOJ and the Biden FBI, our law enforcement agencies are going to be driven by law and not by politics. And so if we think that Ambassador Bolton has committed a crime, of course, eventually prosecutions will come. But as you know, Kristen, this is all part of gathering evidence, trying to understand something that we're worried about. And of course, I'll let the FBI comment on the next stage of the investigation.
What's at the root of this? Is this about classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of it, but I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court. That's how it should be. But again, our focus here is on, did he break the law? Did he commit crimes against the American people? If so, then he deserves to be prosecuted.
As we have this conversation, has Ambassador Bolton been detained, taken into custody, arrested in any form?
So this news just broke this morning, and the FBI, I haven't talked to the FBI this morning. I don't know the answer to that question. I assume that he hasn't been detained and won't be detained until there's a prosecution, if that actually happens.
As you know, Ambassador Bolton is a frequent critic of President Trump's. He's also on Kash Patel's enemies list. The administration has already revoked his security clearance, Secret Service protection. Is Ambassador Bolton being targeted because he's a critic of President Trump?
No, not at all. And in fact, if we were trying to do that, we would just throw out prosecutions willy-nilly like the Biden administration DOJ did, prosecutions that later got thrown out in court. If we bring a case, and of course we haven't done that yet, the Department of Justice has not done that yet. We are investigating Ambassador Bolton, but if they ultimately bring a case, it will be because they determine that he has broken the law. We're going to be careful about that. We're going to be deliberate about that because we don't think that we should throw people, even if they disagree with us politically, maybe especially if they disagree with us politically. You shouldn't throw people willy-nilly in prison. You should let the law drive these determinations, and that's what we're doing.
But you know, a lot of people have already looked at this and said, this looks a lot like retribution. Is this retribution?
Well, who has said it looks a lot like retribution, Kristen? A lot of people who tried to throw Donald Trump in prison for completely fake charges that were later thrown out by multiple different courts. I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here, and that's as it should be.
Let's turn to the war in Ukraine.
Sure.
I had the opportunity to speak with the Russian foreign minister.
I heard.
Yes, he says, as of right now, there's no meeting planned between President Putin and President Zelensky. And he added, there needs to be an agenda first, saying, quote, this agenda is not ready at all. Are the Russians stringing President Trump along?
No, not at all, Kristen. I think the Russians have made significant concessions to President Trump for the first time in 3.5 years of this conflict. They've actually been willing to be flexible on some of their core demands. They've talked about what would be necessary to end the war. Of course, they haven't been completely there yet, or the war would be over, but we're engaging in this diplomatic process in good faith. We are trying to negotiate as much as we can with both the Russians and the Ukrainians to find a middle ground to stop the killing. I think what the president has tried to do here is try to engage in very aggressive, very energetic diplomacy because this war is not in anyone's interest. It's not in Europe or the United States' interest. We don't think it's in Russia or Ukraine's interest to keep going. So we're going to keep on pushing for a diplomatic solution. And one final point about this, Kristen, if you look historically, whenever you have a complicated war with a lot of death and destruction, it kind of goes in fits and starts. There are hills and valleys to the negotiation. We sometimes feel like we've made great progress with the Russians, and sometimes, as the president has said, he's been very frustrated with the Russians. And we're going to keep on doing what we have to do to bring this thing to a close. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think that we're going to continue to make progress, but ultimately, whether the killing stops, that determination is going to belong to whether the Russians and the Ukrainians can actually find some middle ground here.
Well, you talk about concessions, and yet the Russians rejected the ceasefire proposal that President Trump put forward. There's no meeting plan between President Putin and President Zelensky. And this week, Russia targeted.
Like, do you see the stark difference in the way J.D. Vance is communicating? If you think back to when, just think about if this was Kamala Harris. First of all, if this was Kamala Harris, she wouldn't even be asking her questions like this. This would be a pre-edited video where she asked questions that were in her favor, you know, to make her look good. Meanwhile, when they interview Trump, when they interview J.D. Vance, it's not like they're worried about it. They're not worried about it because they know what they're doing, and on top of that, they can talk. They're intelligent. Kamala Harris was not intelligent. When she was asked by I forget his name, but she was asked simply about the border, and she was like, oh, it's about the border. And she was, we've been to the border. And he was like, but you haven't been to the border. And she was like, and I haven't been to Europe. What? Like, do you see the difference? I'm only playing this because they're talking about things that we already went over. I played videos on, but I just wanted to show, like, just the difference in how they question Trump, J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, all of these people in the Trump administration. They want to try to put out there to the people doubt that what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Trump's administration is doing isn't working. That's what they're trying to put out there, is that, Putin and Zelensky didn't meet. They didn't meet yet. The thing is, people don't understand that there could be things behind the scene that are going on. You know for a fact, when it comes not to Putin, but to Zelensky, all he care about is getting money from the EU and getting money from America. You know what I'm saying? That's all he care about for whatever reason. And also, I believe that he wants to keep the war going too. A part of it is, he said when he mentioned that about the, when they asked him a question about will he have an election once this war is done. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's kind of keeping this war going so he can stay in power, because he know once this war is done, eventually he's out of there. And because motherfuckers got foreign interests. So sometimes they have people in there that suit their best interests when it comes to foreign situations. But at the end of the day, I think that he behind the scenes, there are people talking to Zelensky about not letting this, keeping it going, because this makes Trump look bad. You know what I'm saying? In a way, to certain people, I guess. Even though Trump, he always lets it be known that this isn't my war. I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just trying to stop it. And that's why you see Trump frustrated about this. Like when I showed you when Zelensky came, you could tell that Trump was like, yo, bro, like this, like you could tell he's just mad about this whole situation because he wants it to be done. You know what I'm saying? And they ask dumb questions like she's asking because she's a fucking moron. And all they're saying is, yo, we just want it to be done. We want people to stop dying. And they try to make it seem like, oh, this shit is going on because it's other things. Like, no, it's just simple. Trump wants the war to end. And you got people that's on the left that want the war to continue only because they want Trump to look bad. Like, it's crazy.
An American factory in Ukraine. There were 600 people inside at the time. No one was killed. What makes you think President Putin is serious about peace?
Well, I didn't say they conceded on everything, but what they have conceded is the recognition that Ukraine will have territorial integrity after the war. They've recognized that they're not going to be able to install a puppet regime in Kiev. That was, of course, a major demand at the beginning. And importantly, they've acknowledged that there is going to be some security guarantee to the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Again, have they made every concession? Of course they haven't. Should they have started the war? Of course they haven't. But we're making progress, Kristen. And what I admire about the president in this moment is he's not asking 3.5 years ago. He's not, trying to focus on every nitpicky detail of how this thing started 3.5 years ago. He's trying to focus on the nitpicky details of now, of what do the parties disagree on, what do they agree on, and how do you build a foundation from one side of that ledger to the other so that you can stop the killing.
But was President Trump, were you enraged when you learned that Russia targeted an American company based in Ukraine?
I don't
was
like
that not
it,
a slap
Kristen.
in the face
I
to
don't.
the peace
I don't
process?
like it, Kristen. But this is a war, and this is why we want to stop the killing. The Russians have done a lot of things that we don't like. A lot of civilians have died. We've condemned that stuff from the get-go. And frankly, President Trump has done more to apply pressure and to apply economic leverage to the Russians, certainly than Joe Biden did for 3.5 years when he did nothing but talk, but do nothing to bring the killing to a stop. So you ask me what I'm enraged by. What I'm enraged by is the continuation of the war. What I'm enraged by is a presidency and Joe Biden who for 3 years did nothing to end the killing. What I'm actually excited about right now is that we have a president who's engaging in energetic diplomacy to try to stop the killing. That's as it should be. I think the American people should be proud of it. And whatever the outcome of this, whether the war ends in 3 months or 6 months or hopefully not beyond, but maybe, we should be proud that we have a president who's trying to stop the killing. He's done it, by the way, 6 wars that the president has brought to a close all over the world. This would be the 7th. It's the most complicated, but we're trying despite that.
I had the opportunity to interview.
And so I'm going to end that because, they're pretty much talking about things we went over. But I just wanted to play it because you just see the stark difference, bro. And just everything, bro. Like, I just hate the media is just crazy. We know the media, what they do, you know what I'm saying? But it's just so whack that, you don't have a media that's actually going to, just want good for America. You just tell these people just don't care.
President Trump is vowing to go into Chicago with the National Guard. The mayor is saying he will call for uprising and fighting, physical fighting against the National Guard. John Bolton, and yet Democrat leaders say this is terrible. It's the worst thing that Trump's done to Washington, D.C. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this is exactly what a leader does. He goes in, he just corrects the problem. What was Donald Trump supposed to do? Is just allow them to continue to have murders and rapes and assaults going on in the nation's capital and just think it's going to be okay. Who is he going to wait for? He was going to wait for that incompetent Mayor Bowser to do something. She's been in the job for years. Her DEI hire, the person that was in charge of the DEI curriculum, is now the police chief. So a large lesbian woman that was over DEI is now supposed to be the leader of alpha males in law enforcement. It's absurd. And what I love what Donald Trump is doing, he's saying, DC's the beginning. I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to go to Chicago. I'm going to go to all these places because here's the thing. I'm a big states' rights guy. However, when your state actively ignores your health and safety, the federal government has the right to come in and say, no, I have to protect my citizens. He's going to do that in L.A. Think about when he does this. Once D.C. gets done, think of there's no murder in the last week and everyone's cheering. Can you imagine in your neighborhood if people were like, thank God we don't have someone murdered today? That is absurd. Yeah. So why do you and I live in communities that would be absurd? If there was a murder in my community, one in the whole year, the place would go nuts. But why is it okay to have daily murders just because there's black people living in Chicago, DC? Trump is doing the right thing. I'm a states' rights guy, but I believe the states have abdicated their responsibility, their authority to the president. The president's going to come in and he's going to bring the wood. And I think it's going to be a war.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a set off a war.
I think you're right. Especially, we'll talk a little bit more about Chicago and how the mayor is reacting down there. I mean, he's essentially using code to call for violence, but you know, I live in a nicer area, good schools. That was on purpose. We recently had an immigrant. I don't know whether he was illegal or not, but he ended up drowning in one of the local neighborhood ponds, and everybody was upset about it. You know, and that was just like somebody that died sadly. But like, I can't imagine living in an area where there's hundreds of murders every year, and everybody's just like, yeah, I guess it's just part of living in a big city. You know, and they keep teasing Trump, like, who does this guy think he is, Batman? Well, Batman only, you know, came to power in the comics because Gotham was so out of control. I mean, look at every single week I get on Breitbart News and I see how many people have been murdered in Chicago and how many of them are children. And then the community does nothing. The government does nothing. Law enforcement does nothing. It's just really sad. And then now we're finding out Stephen Miller of the White House, he's been working with Pam Bondi and others. It turns out over in Washington, D.C., they've been mislabeling crimes. They've been calling homicides accidents. They've been saying that murders were misdemeanors. I mean, it's crazy. Let me go ahead and watch this with you, and then we'll go ahead and react.
This is why I wanted to play this video, because they was talking about a few things that we already went over, but I wanted to play it because it is. Because this is what they have been doing. Like during the Joe Biden administration, even with the jobs and all of that, jobs have went up and all of that. It was because people were they were laid off because of COVID, and they were getting their jobs back. And they made that look like it was new jobs. You know what I'm saying? These people do not give a fuck about you, bro. The only way you're going to get the real truth is from people like Stephen Gardner and J.J. Carroll, who actually report on real news, bro. You're not going to get it from Kristen Welker.
Lost control of their place. Steve Miller, please say a few words.
Thank you, sir. So just to, first of all, follow up on what the vice president said. No police officer working in the city can remember a time in their lives when there has been no murders. You can work at the police department for 20 years, 30 years, your whole life. We've checked the records. No one can even find a record of being murder-free for as long as we've been murder-free under President Trump's leadership. Additionally, and the president spoke about this before, we've uncovered, in the process of uncovering, a massive scandal in Washington, D.C. with the doctoring of crime stats. And the Department of Justice, under the Attorney General, is leading the effort to uncover this. But when we ultimately share the results, it will stun you. The extent to which, even though D.C. had the worst crime in America, honestly measured, it dramatically understated how bad it was. There's even accusations that murders and homicides were reported as accidents instead of murders. I mean, this is how severe the manipulation of the crime data has been in the city, and it will all be uncovered and it will all be brought to light. You know, I've had a chance to spend some time, as has everyone here, with the police officers in the city. Members of the public are going up to them and thanking them, just overflowing with gratitude, because for the first time in their lives, they can use the parks, they can walk.
All right. So
yeah, we've seen that part of it, but yeah, man, like they have been fixing the numbers to fit the narrative for re-election and to make their state look good, you know. And they literally said when they was claiming that crime was down, they found out that they weren't reporting the crime, the real numbers, but yet they weren't even reporting the cities where a lot of crime, like Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and so forth. They weren't even reporting the numbers on that. So how are you going to get real numbers? Damn, the hell? You keep burping. How are you going to get the real numbers on the crime if they're not even reporting them? And then they were calling certain. They were saying that. I believe that they said they were calling like they were calling certain crimes different shit. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of what it was, like a homicide, they was calling fucking who knows. You know what I'm saying? But they were just changing things up to make the crime stats look like they were low. You know, unfortunately, man, like there's like a real serious. Like for me, it's like I'm gonna show this video tomorrow of Wallow. I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw it, but this video was so powerful. Like it's so powerful, bro. I want to play it now, but I just don't have the time. But I'm gonna play it tomorrow. Like this video that Wallow did the joint with Shannon Sharp, and it's a powerful video, bro. And it's just like it's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt him, bro. And that's why I fuck with Wallow, man. Wallow be giving real game, bro. And you could tell that Wallow truly cares. You could tell he truly cares about his people, especially the black community. He see how, you know, he been in prison. He did 20 joints. He know how fucked up it is in the cities. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why him and Gilly got the $1 million worth of game. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they want to show him like, yo, bro, I've been there. I've done that. That shit ain't what it is. I'm telling you. Like, you know what I mean? They may laugh and joke about certain things and play around, but ultimately, he be dead serious. You know what I'm saying? When he be talking about these things. You know what I mean? And you could really hear it when he talk about his brother, bro. And that's the joint I'm gonna play tomorrow. He was talking about his brother, and that joint was powerful, man. We gonna get into that tomorrow. But let's get into this last little short clip with Snoop talking about going to the movies.
See,
with his grandson.
what was the movie with Buzz Light?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
The new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's
yeah,
called
with
Lightyear.
Keke Palmer's in that movie. So we watching it, and she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? So it's like, it fuck me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids that we have to show that at this age. Like
come on.
That part.
They're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
They are going to ask. I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
What you see.
You have
see.
You have the answer, Snoop. You just be honest. You know what I'm saying? You just be honest. So this joint been going viral. Snoop talking about this, and it's the fucked up part is this. The fucked up part is Snoop has built a brand for itself, a major brand. Snoop is one of the most likable people on the planet. People love Snoop like they love Shaq, and like he has built this massive brand for himself. He is definitely super successful, and he is definitely somebody that I'll fuck with heavy. The problem is, and you can see it, he really probably was like, you know, probably not to his grandson because he's small, but, you know, talking about it maybe with his wife or whoever, family, and just, he has his real views on shit, but because people are celebrities and they gotta watch what they say because they don't want to get canceled and they want to, you know, let people, because niggas really don't give a fuck, really. Like what you do in your spare time or in your life, that's what you do. They ain't got nothing to do with me. So he like, damn, you know, now they put, but he right. Come on, you putting it in children's movies. But remember, I said they don't care about us. We already set in stone about how we feel about certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like when we grown. You know what I mean? They don't care about us. You know what I mean? They care about the children because they're the next generation of people that they can influence and get and already. You know what I mean? That's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful with the phones, the letting your kids just scroll on YouTube all the time and all of these different things. You know what I mean? Because it's stuff like this. Like, it's to the point, bro, where my nephew 11, I think my nephew 11, you know, his generation, and even his older brother who, you know, is around my son, he's 16, my son 15, it's where they have been consumed with this homosexual shit so much that they're like, it's regular. This is regular for their generation, to where it's just like, it's normal. It's been normalized. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up. You know, they making all of these children books. You know, even I seen a clip with it was a gay couple, I think it was a couple, but they was in like a Barnes and Nobles, and they said they have a gay children's section, and they was like, even they said that come on, bro, this is too much. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Because they know it is, man. Even they did. Even they said that, like, they don't approve of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are y'all making children's books about gay shit? You know what I mean? Gay BCs and shit. Like, man, what? It's out of control, bro. It really is, man. And just shout out to Snoop for just putting it out there. Even though you could tell he didn't say what he really wanted to say, but he kind of said it, though, just in a lighter tone, just like basically like, why y'all gotta put it in, like, come on, they young, like, what are we doing? Like, but it's because they pushing the agenda, man. They want to make everybody and the biggest agenda of all is to go against God. That's the biggest agenda of all, is to make mankind go against God, bro. Just what it is. God is God. Whatever you call him or whatever, that's your business. But God is God. And at the end of the day, that's the one universal thing that everybody can agree on, is that they believe in God and they believe in the devil, right? Which is good and evil, right? You're positive and negative. That's life, positive and negative. And the negative is trying to override the positive. And that's just all it is. That's what they're doing, you know? So it's deep, man, but it's just to get you to go against God, bro. So it's crazy. But anyway, man, that's the show for today, man. It's your boy SL550. Yo, listen, make sure y'all like, share, comment. I don't care if you tap in. Yes, it is. It is scary times. You're right. I just seen what's the name? Super scary times, bro. It truly is. And it's fucked up, bro, because, you know, you really got to protect your kids nowadays. Like, you really got to be in tune with the schools. You can't trust them. You can't trust them to actually just teach your kids math, social studies, science. Now you got to worry about them trying to indoctrinate your kids with all of this homosexual shit and try to tell your kids that men can be women and women can be men. It's crazy, man. But we're going to have some more tomorrow. Yeah, but like I was saying, like, share, comment. Don't care if you tap in for a second. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really, truly do appreciate it, because we all know it costs you nothing, man. It costs you zilch, zitch. You know what I'm saying? Just press it boop, real quick, even if you keeping it moving. You know what I mean? But I would appreciate it if you stay and enjoy the game that I'm giving. And yeah, man, it's your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again live YouTube channel. Make sure y'all tap in with me tomorrow. And until then, I'm out, man.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream. Rich man greed, a poor man prayers. Every man bleeds, but look how God made us. Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.